A very good morning to you all. Today is a beautiful Monday. It's glowing. In London, it's still summer. Summer is going to go away. Enjoy it while it is here. My people, it is Sunday, the 19th of August, 2024. And it's Monday, not Sunday. I don't know what I'm talking about. Sometimes I get drunk. When you get a hangover of yesterday, it comes down to today. But yesterday, I wasn't actually drunk. I went to church. How many of you went to church yesterday? No, that degree is not a Christian. Good boy. Anyway, today we have a very, very important topic to discuss, and I'll be joined by a special guest. You've met him before, you're meeting him again, and guess what? When he's around, it's always hot. The topic we're going to try and talk about today, we're going to take a look at the rule of law and democracy. What does it mean? In fact, sometimes when we talk about democracy, what does it mean to you? Do you understand what is rule of law? That's the two things we'll be looking at this morning. And as usual, we'll also take a look at the newspapers and we'll do all that. But before I start, I'm good. Like I said, I'll be joined by a public affairs analyst. His name is Richard. You met him before. He's a handsome young man. He's right here. Richard, welcome to Wake Up Nigeria. This is Wake Up Nigeria. You're welcome. Let me say you're welcome first because you're looking amazing. What did you do? You went to church yesterday, Richard. You look like a good boy this morning.
No, in fact, it's not in fact, but the name of your program resonates what you've done to me this morning. I had to wake up.
You had to wake up, yeah. I know Richard would have been a bad boy going all around. He likes to party a lot. By the way, he's still a good boy. Richard, you're welcome to the show. Today, like I said, we'll be taking a look at what the challenges we have in Africa when it comes to these two difficult topics. Sometimes they approach it differently, and sometimes they have the knowledge or the wisdom to put it together. I wanted to bring in the quote of Margaret Thatcher, which is one of the major things I really want us to look at this morning. It's what Margaret Thatcher actually said about this beautiful topic called rule of law. She said it all, that there cannot be a true government. Most important thing for a true government is respect for rule of law. And African government don't seem to understand that. All we want to hear is democracy. Let's look at what Margaret Thatcher has to say first. Margaret is saying respect the rule of law. That's what she said. They said the first duty of government is to uphold the law. If it tries to bob or weave it or duck it around, they easily need to talk to our last friend, Boris Johnson. Don't bob it, man. Don't weave it. So see, I wonder if they could say this about the people here, what they will have to say about those of us in Africa. It's very important. Perhaps this is the most important thing I really want us to look at today, what Margaret Thatcher was saying. That there's nothing is safe. Not home, not liberty, not life itself. That is if government does not hold rule of law. And that is one of the important things. So in Africa, I like the famous words of this man, the king of Jordan. In Jordan, Richard, in Jordan, people don't vote. They inherit the office of the presidency, and which is still a democratic state in my book. And the king come out and say that democracy will mean different things to different people. So in Africa today, what we call democracy is periodic elections. By the time every 4 years you vote new person in, you must have 4 years and you go. That is, for me, a very small aspect of democracy. If you do only that, is that democracy, Richard, in your book?
No, that's not the fundamental meaning of the practice of democracy, because we will have to distinguish between the fundamentals of the subject and the practice of it. In fact, we will leave the fundamentals on the side because it appears everyone understands what the fundamentals of democracy is. What is left, especially with respect to Africa, is the practice.
All right. Yeah, because Richard, we're going to break it down so that everybody can understand what we are up against in Africa. In Nigeria, for instance, they're trying to be strict a little bit now. Lagos is not taking it, but in some of the states, you can drink and drive. And if the police stop you, it's up to you. You give them 10 naira. Anyway, now they bigger than that. You give them 1,000 naira, they don't even bother you. They'll go and get drunk themselves too. And these are the is it true that we don't have the laws in Nigeria, in Africa, or we don't implement them? Or government is not also, we're going to look at it from every angle today. I want to look from the side of the government. The only reason some people are above the law when it comes to the government. The government is above the law, which is almost so in everywhere, because in this country too, some people may be above the law. We are not subject to the same law as the crown. We know that. So, but that of Africa, our government abused the law. The law doesn't mean anything to them. But we live in a democratic state. They are duly elected. Richard, how do we tell these people that you are duly elected doesn't mean you are in a democratic state?
Thank you, Chris. I need to make an intercession here that the crown the idea of the crown might be above the law. In fact, that is the opposite. The crown is within the law. Everyone is within the law. What the crown is above is politics. They are above politics. They are above their democracy. That is two different things. They are well within the rule of law in Great Britain. Or the reason we might see it differently is they are not so much within our circles or our societies to see their behaviors, but their behavior towards the rule of law is one of the reasons why they are still respected in those positions. The problems and the unwanted situations on the surface is obviously clear to make them submit and behave themselves and get themselves underneath the law. But they are in fact well within the law, and they understand it, and they know that. Anyway, let's come to the point of our end. I've not yet come across any African country that does not have laws. Okay. In fact, for the past 25 to 30 years, as we were growing up, I think I'll use the word the Mickey Mouse democracy that is supposed to flourish in Africa has been developed only by one side, by the strength and the progression of the structures of legislation, which I believe is almost well within where it's supposed to be for that shortest time of the practice of democracy. Well, we will have to separate that from when it comes to bylaws and the trimming down of the legislations to make it work for its purpose. Because the existence of the legislature or the legislation is not just what is on the paper. It's when it's taken from the various parliaments, Nigeria, the rest of Africa, to actually put into practice. That is where the actual issue we are having, not the availability of the law itself. Yes.
So in other words, there's enough laws. Like I see, in fact, there are too many agencies in Nigeria we don't have here. In Nigeria alone, the number of agencies fighting crime, I mean, especially when it comes to financial crime, if you name them, they're countless. The number of forces established to fight different levels of, for instance, financial crime, we have the EFCC, they are the supreme. But you have numerous numbers of other agencies. They said they are anti-craft. They use the word so well, and they speak good English on that. Like you rightly said, these not only the laws are there, but the agencies are there. Why are we still having the same issue?
Well, the reason we are having these issues, you see, the fronting of the naming of agencies, the existence of agencies are a very good start to the solution. To even begin preparing for the solution, to think about it is a very important bit. But because successive governments have tried to make their names with their own motives, to top up what is already in existence, to counter what is right, so they put up new ones. The idea of putting up new ones is very different from what we, the public, are told the reasons why we are having numerous of them. In fact, all things being equal, having numerous of them conflicting with each other was supposed to be something very good. If so be it, it was supposed to be a good thing, because what happens is it will be very difficult to start bribing or conniving and colluding with 3 or 4 agencies rather than
Yes.
conniving or colluding with only one. That
Yes.
is one thing. However, these institutions, which is so much needed to fight corruption,
Mm.
is there. Very good. They've got their backing being the legislation that that backs them up, the instrument, the laws
Yes.
that helps them to
To
operate,
operate
the
is
same
there.
instrument that gives them the power to exercise their duties.
Yes.
And most of what is most important to me here is the reason they are using these offices, driving these cars, getting remunerations and benefits and everything, is to exercise their duties.
Yes.
Their exercises are being hampered along the line, because we in when we I believe when we're talking about the rule of law in democracy, it is not the same as the rule of law in any other jurisdiction, like in any other areas of ruling. For instance, the monarchical system, or in a military rule system, because they all have the rule of law. But you can see the practice and the punishment will be different to make things work. Now, when we come to the why we have all these institutions, but we are yet suffering from its importance or its profits, is because of the chain that we have. The people, when you tackle, for instance, some sort of corruption from a public office, from a ministry, from the parliament, when you or even from the presidency, when you tackle any corruption or any if you start investigating anything, you see it goes all the way trying to hit the top of government.
Yes.
That is how it is established. It's either the top of government is part of it, have knowledge of it, instituted it, made it possible, or that person knows someone who is high up. I indeed refuse to use the word high up or big men or anything like that, for that matter, because for the mere fact of civilization and
Mm.
the mere fact of people who put you there, you cannot be bigger than people who put you to where you are.
Yeah.
This is something we Africans, we black people, have failed to acknowledge. We put people to places,
And
and
they become bigger than us.
they come to become
Go
big.
and serve me, and you become my boss.
Is is conflicting the procedure. This is part, this mentality is part of the reason why we're having punitive action, the audacity for people to think, um I put you there, but I turn up to be I am your
Yes,
master.
your servant. And I'm now eating crunch. Look at this. Currently in Nigeria, I have 2 cases that is of interest to me, Richard. And one of them is the case of a governor of Kogi State. This guy, in fact, the anti-graft agency has openly made it clear that the guy is a thief and declared him wanted. Now the guy is hiding within the same country in his own state, and they said they couldn't find him. Now they buried the matter under the carpet. And, and that is now, on what credibility will you give a government of that is in power, knowing that the governor is there? They know what, when they want something, the children were out protesting, they were able to come out and say, you are this, they are looting. People looting 2 naira, maybe going to look for food to eat. You know the people they call looters. These are kids that maybe they go into the shop, they find that there are some places where their government palliatives are there, they break in and they take some rice, they carry spaghetti, because they're hungry, and they call those most criminal. But the real criminal, the man is hiding, the government is doing nothing about that. And we say we elected or we're living in a democratic state. So yes, this president is elected, President Tinubu is elected, but are we in democracy here?
You see, when you see certain behaviors, straight away what comes to your head is the system of our democracy is way of getting people into power. It's not a way of getting people to be on the ladder of progress and structures.
Thank
That
you.
is what it was meant to be.
That I can understand. That is the right way to put it.
But
So our democracy is the one that puts you to power. So when they say government of the people, by the people, and for the people, they think, oh, by the time it's your vote that put me there, then we're already in a democratic state. But that is not government for the people. Then it's not by the people. You understand? The people might choose you, but you're not working for the people. How can that be democracy?
you see, when in our side of the place, everything is turned upside down. I'm not sure if it's the understanding the people are not getting, or it's them who are in power who does not understand what the process is. When the Europeans, who the West, let me put it that way, the West
Yeah.
who brought democracy. If you look at every jurisdiction in the West, they have a different form of democracy. Every one of them. But the one we practice in Africa is the same. The one we practice in Africa is the same. This is one of the fundamental problems. If you come to the United Kingdom, there is a democracy, but it's a different system of democracy.
Yes.
The monarch is well on top of the democracy. They sign you off. Let's put it that way. After we vote, they sign you off.
Yes.
After we vote, we don't elect a prime minister. We elect members of parliament.
Exactly.
Who have the majority becomes the leader of the day, the prime minister of the day.
Yeah.
This system makes people behave. The position of a parliamentarian, an MP, is a lifetime job, can be a lifetime job if you behave and work.
And people seem to like you, yeah.
Your constituency is your problem. You don't serve your party. You serve your constituency.
They are the one that will say you go back or you don't go back. But it's the same thing we have in the body chart. It's not the same.
It's disseminated. It's disseminated here. Whatever Ealing South in North London MP is doing is not entirely the business of Ealing North MP. That is common borders, but they have different aspirations. One of them might have a lot of disabled people. One of them might have less disabled people, but many people who are looking for housing. So they have, although they might be in the same political party, they go to parliament to bid for what is needed in their constituency. They do not vote only on party faces or party colors. They vote on their needs. Their constituency needs, their constitutional, their constituency's needs. If this is transferred to our side, after the elections, after the voting, that's it. After the voting, everything is about the political party. You would be struggling, very difficult to see any of the MPs saying something quite opposite of the wrongs of his own party. You see, this kind of this behavior, this type of democracy makes people behave right from the bottom to the top. Secondly, before people get to the position of becoming a leader of the party or a minister or whatever, they come through the ranks with showing merits. It does not come because of your uncle. It does not come because of your brother. It does not come because of exactly which school you went to. You have to come from somewhere.
It doesn't come because of your father. Yeah.
Because of your father, or it does not happen like that. If that was ever the case, we would in fact have Prince Harry hanging about somewhere in England. Because that it have to, when it comes to public office, it have to be on merit only. It's called public. It's for every one of us. The office belongs to the people of the country, not some family, not some friends, not some class in the society or the community. These understandings. Sometimes I believe the use of the English does not really get a sip very deep into what we are talking about. Public office means it's for the public. We put you there, you serve us. You are not there, I can be there. It's for all of us, based on merits only. There's nothing else. But in our case, the reason why we have, for instance, all these institutions fighting corruption, but corruption is still is in fact skyrocketing. The numbers are going up. If the government of the day will be truthful to itself, is because all these people who are involved in the corruption, have an anchor. The anchor is someone, high up, as is put in. I use in inverted commas. So if you have someone using their nephew or their niece as a decoy to front things, to front corruption, when the niece or the nephew is caught, he is a small fish. The drafting institution don't know that nephew. By the time they get to the ranks, then they realize that his uncle is the Minister of Roads and Highway. So the case stops there.
That's there too.
The case stops there. That is the problem. The case will stop there. Instead of the way the government they have deliberately made it in such a way that you come through us, because the democracy, the rule of law, the democracy is not combined. We have different heads.
Yes, rule of law and there's democracy somewhere. Yeah, it's really what
the structure should be the legislature, the government, the executive, and the judiciary. We don't tell me which African country truly have these separated. We don't. They deliberately don't want to
separation of power. Yeah, but like in Nigeria, Richard, we have the executive arms of government, which is the president and all that. Then we have the legislative arms of government, which is we have the Senate president, we have the House of Assembly. These are powerful houses, and it goes across the state as well. So it is well planned. Like we know how to copy everything from the United States when we want to. So it is well copied, Richard. So there's supposed to be separation of power, because but the only challenge I see in our case, Richard, is the executive that pays the legislature up to last time, I think about 6 months ago now, when they made a law that the money of the legislative should not come from the executive. It should come straight to their coffers. They should manage their own resources, because they have power. It's like the executive have power over them because they're the one paying them. To be honest, you see that in the past, the governors, especially in most Nigerian states, they will not point, I don't want that speaker anymore, and the speaker is removed, just like that. You understand? And this, forgetting that these are elected people by the people. Not, and then you see them changing speakers. I don't think it will happen the same now, because the governor have so much money, they can just buy the place over and do what they want, and that's what they have been doing.
You see, when we talk about the separation of powers, the separation of powers is the same as the mentioning of the rule of law and democracy. The three arms that I mentioned, the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, is what separation of power is supposed to be.
Yeah, but Richard, it is so in Nigeria, except that the money, which is the instrument of power, is actually not so because of the money. It's only the money that is not well separated.
It is mentioned, but it is not separated.
Yes.
The important part is the point that the fact that the separation is there is one thing, and if the separation is put into practice,
that's okay.
We are not having a separation. We don't have the separation. We have the arms. That's why when I mentioned the arms, I did not use the word separating of powers, because we don't have it. We have the arms, but it's not separated.
It's not separated. Okay. Richard, look at what we do sometimes when it comes to this law. You know, in Africa, we tend to use morals. It's like our morals is stronger than the law. Let me put it this way. We all go to church on Sundays. We pray yesterday. And one would expect that, okay, people that went to church and they have prayed to God will be in line. They will behave. They will they won't be stealing. Most of the people stealing the money now, they are Muslims or they're Christians. In fact, the churches have become a place now where people make a lot of money. The Muslims before, who used to be very calm, who are not so greedy today, they're the one looting the treasury. Look at the former governor of Kogi State we're looking for. He's a Muslim. And the former governor of Nigeria, the Federal Bank of Nigeria, they've been taking money from this guy again and again. These are people who are supposed to have big morals. How do you separate morals and Rule of law.
Chris, you
Yeah.
talk about morals in morals of people who say that some people have good moral standing. The people who are saying they have good moral, who say others are having good moral standing, and the people who are being beneficiaries of this particular person. Okay, a good when we talk about morals, I rather we don't mix um governance with morals. We don't need morals. We don't need nobody's morality. As long as you vie for a public office, you conform yourself to certain rules, regulations, and some scrutiny. You don't have a private life anymore. This is must be understood. If you want a private life, you stay in private life.
Yes.
If you
Don't
come
come
to
to public
public office,
office. Yeah.
you don't have private life
Yeah.
because the taxpayer is paying you to do the job you said you can do.
Yes.
So your business is their business. Your life is their life.
Of course, I agree.
That's why your story is what we want to hear. I don't want to hear information private life of Mr. Dangote. I don't want to hear. What I want to hear is about his business.
Yes.
If Dangote is married to 8 wives, I don't want to know that.
No, exactly.
Because he's not in the public life.
Yeah, he's living his private life. Yeah, I agree with you.
When you come to public life, you become a role model to everyone. That not only role model, but you are also working for the public. So the public need to know what you are doing. This is one thing they have forgotten. When we see people from a distance that they have good moral standing or they have good morals, we are wrong because the moment
they carry the Bible and the Quran. How do you judge? How do you say someone doesn't have a good moral if he goes to church on Sunday?
The courage of those two books can tell you that person is heading to nowhere, because those two books have shown us the demise of Africa. At least I don't want to go there too much, but if there's anything to go by, the example is there. If there's anything to go by, if the Bible is the route to progress, the route to development, we have churches 100 meters from each other in places in Africa.
In fact, 100 meters is long now. They are not up to 100 meters anymore. They share the same fence now.
See, so what kind of miracle are we looking for? Miracle don't build nothing. Miracle don't, you just hope. Miracles happen once in a lifetime. So something that happens once in a lifetime you cannot depend on such a thing to build up your life. And this is one part of our demise. So the use of the Quran and the Bible shall not be used to deceive Africans again. It cannot.
But that's what we use to swear oath when we want to take office. Richard, are you Muslim? Are you Christian? So it's assumed when you swear by this, you will be of good behavior.
You see, when the Bible or the Quran is used in the West to swear, it is used to swear on something else. You're not swearing on the Bible, because if you are to put to a court of law, you will not be judged by the Bible.
Yeah.
You say the truth. You use the what book, whatever religion you believe in, you use it to attest that you say the truth according to your knowledge and the law. Because at the end of the day, it's not the Bible that is going to be used in the court to judge you. It's the law that's going to be used to judge you. When we knew that when we thought a person had good moral standing, is respected, and they are found culpable of fraud and corruption, deception, colluding, conniving, any of the unjust things that sits down to the ordinary people, their title of honorable must be suspended. You can't call a corrupt person, a corrupt public office, honorable.
Professor called them horrible. They say they're not honorable.
You can call them horrible. You can call them whatever you want. But when we feel surprised, when we talk about surprise in the knowledge that someone who is so
reverend
and they have good morals is wrong, because we should not be surprised. This is human behavior. The only thing that is going to separate me from them is the law. But again, these people who make the laws are very distant from the laws. in our side of the world, they are distant from the laws. Where the laws that they have copied come from, they are not distant from it. They are well within it. And in fact, it's even more of a burden on them than me. For instance, if me, myself, and an MP is caught overspeeding or any malpractice,
yes,
it is better they don't mention their position. It's better for them because that means you know better. So the leniency that will be given to me will not be extended the same.
No, they'll
So
get harsher treatment. Yes, true.
You see, this is because they are well within the law. Up to now, today, ministers, parliamentarians, governors in Nigeria and many places in Africa, they are above the law. What they say is, do you know who I am?
Do you know? They ask you, do you know who I am?
But
Tell
I am
them
the
I
person
said
who
so.
put you to where you are. I
With
put you there.
impunity.
You see? So they always have something to stand on. They work their way through a ladder, through a kind of a ladder, to entangle themselves with everyone within the structures. So you can see along the way, when they are arrested, when the EFCC or any other of the drafting agencies arrest people, they get to the reason why we hear about it is you can see initially their processes will be started. They will start the proceedings. And it halts somewhere along the line, because along the line he's not doing it alone. He's with other groups, and he put some people in a position. Before he was arrested. If I put you to the ministry, of Justice, if I contributed to your campaign to become the Minister of Justice, if I was part of the group that spoke to the president or the office of the president to make you the Minister of Justice, and now I have been caught of stealing millions of dollars, what are you going to do? Maybe I have secrets of you before we put you there.
Exactly.
They are having some dodgy, uncivilized behaviors that we think is above them. They are not above those kind of things. These are the reasons why they get away with things. Because when you arrest them, it gets to a place that these boys at the bottom, who are fairly doing their jobs, can carry on up to a certain level, hand them over to another level of institution to prosecute them or do whatever they have to do with them, and all of a sudden the case collapses because someone has to step in. They have done a job. They've done something in the past to mitigate the punishment they are supposed to face. We have to understand it is not a child's game. It's not a child's play. If we, the members of public, think we are going to look upon the legislature to use the legislation to punish themselves, that's not going to happen. The rule of law, the three arms that I don't want to use the separation, is there. The fourth one is the public. That's the fourth one. That is not included.
The most powerful one really is the public.
That's the most powerful part of it. They have the population. They are the people, in fact, you are serving. You cannot force to do something for me when I'm saying it's not good. You want to serve me, I'm telling you, no, I don't want you to serve me. You say I need to serve you. You don't need to serve anyone. No. They want you to serve them. So if you have to force yourself to serve someone, then it means you have a very different interest from the one the person anticipated.
So Richard, let's try and pick this words now. The democracy and the rule of law. For democracy, they're building or they're arguing that, hey, I am duly elected by my people. I'm serving the interests of my people. But at the end of the day, they're serving themselves. Then, this is what happened in Africa. Then you see the disciplined arms or disciplined institutions, such as the military. When they get tired of what they're seeing, they come and say, hey, you get out of there. This is not why you were put in office, because your law, there seems no separation of power within you. And this is not acceptable. Get out. And we come and say, hey, these guys are not duly elected. Why are they in power? At this end of the time, that's why I really want to, at what point can we now have the moral standing to discredit the military if they are the only people that could take over the power? Let's put it this way, Richard. Now,
Right.
over the past 1 year in Nigeria, since this new government came to power, we've seen the labor came on protest, they suppressed them. The young people came out, they suppressed them. None of them, they'll tell you, go out on the street and protest, nothing will happen. Go out on the street and protest. But if the military come out and protest, they're going to take the power from them. But we're going to come on the military and say, hey, you are not the right people to take power from these people. But what are the alternatives, Richard? A situation where nothing.
I'll tell you what. We in Africa knows what we need. We don't know how to get what we need. If we are copying or if we are learning, we learn with our personal skin behind.
Yes.
I'll put it that way. What we need, we don't need the military to do our business for us. The military is also an agency. They are also an institution within the country serving the members of public.
Yes.
We do not need the military to do our bidding for us, because when the military comes in, it's a different ball game. Yes. The people, the police are beating. The people, the police are stopping to protest. Are the people who should know they should forge on. They should continue the protest.
Yeah, but Richard, it doesn't seem to be the case in Africa. They shoot at them.
Let them.
At these young people.
They must be shot at. They must be shot at. They must be killed. They can shoot at them. They can kill them. But this is when you show your readiness. This is when you show your readiness. Because
we're looking at the separation of power. I'm happy you've identified the four arms of government. We have the legislature, we have the executive, we have the judiciary, and we have the people. Sometimes the people will protest. They'll beat them. You understand?
Yes.
Using an instrument to beat them. So, and of course, the legislature cannot ask the executive because they have the money. The judiciary, they are the one, they appoint them. They appoint the judges. The judges don't have a mouth to say. So at the end, like what we see in Nigeria today, we are helpless.
No, Nigeria is not helpless. Nigeria, like every other African country, is not helpless. And I'll tell you this.
All right.
What is the point? What is the point? If your children are going to suffer the same fate as you, if your children are going to live a miserable life, a poor life, the same as you, if you grow up to 40, 50, 60, 70 in poverty, and you don't have any guarantee that your children are going to live differently, what is the point of you living in that poverty for your children to come and continue the same poverty? It's rather you go, you fight and die and hope there will be a better future for your children and your children's children. This is where we have to be blunt. Someone in power, comfortable in power, able to suppress the people, create mass poverty. I use the word create because it's deliberate. They deliberately create mass poverty because what they have looted is more than enough for themselves and their families. If it's not paid, it's not what they've been paid. What they've looted is more than enough for themselves and their families in generations to come. Whilst they create a lot mass poverty, sickness, diseases, and all sorts of things, vices in communities and societies for free. When people are living this kind of life comfortable, why do you expect them to live it just like that? They're not going to live it just like that. They're going to use every force, every power within their site to stop it.
So, Richard, what I'm saying now is what the alternative is left for us as a people.
The authority left for us as a people is the people. The people have to fight.
Richard, they're shooting the gun at us. They shoot at us. They throw guns at us. They throw. They call them names.
What is the number? That's what I've already addressed that. What is the number of the Nigerian military? What's the total number of Nigerian military?
Quite small.
It's 1 million, 1 million, 2 million.
I don't think they're up to. They might be up to. Okay.
Let's say Nigeria have 5 million active soldiers. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
5 million is a very huge number. 5 million is a very huge number. Nigerian population is more than 150.
No, we are up to 300 now. We are up to 300 million. Trust me.
Let's say Nigeria is 200 million. 5 million of them are the military. Yeah. How many more can they kill? How many of them? This is a fundamental thinking, reasoning. If you love your life, If you love your life, you either love your life or you love your children, because we cannot suffer the same fate as what we
not allow our children to. I hear what you say, Richard. So you're saying that because of our children, we should come out and say to the government, no, this is not allowed. Richard, to be fair to Nigerians, I can't stand for them and say these people have actually come out to cry. Last time in 2020, young people came out, Richard. They came out to protest against the government. They were called all kinds of names, shot at. The same government.
The same excuse, the same reason I will address to this. I totally understand. But if we have to do comparison, the West, as we see today, did not change their behaviors and their attitudes because of their color or because of their geographical location. They didn't do that. They have done the same fighting I'm telling you about. They have gone forward, they have fought, they have died. That's why their children are enjoying today.
Okay, that's a good one.
They did not get it. Look, people, me and you, we are sitting on TV. We are talking about what is wrong with the government, what they are not doing right. Okay, people have been doing this for years. Why would they not listen? They wouldn't listen because what's the point? But there come a point. Someone have to force it. It needs to be forced. They have to be made to understand. This is your remuneration. This is your boundary.
Yes.
The laws of the land covers every one of us. So you must abide by it or you do not come to the public service. If you come to the public service, you will be scrutinized.
No, Richard, perhaps what I'm saying, Mary, welcome to the show because it's like you are not part of us. Welcome to the show. I've added it to the program. All right, what I really want us to ask, Richard, we are in a dilemma here. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's me that is going crazy. Now, we know that these people, they are not supposed to do anything, and they're doing it. Now, for them to be able to checkmate themselves, they created something called separation of power, that the power should be separated between the executive, and it's not working because they appoint themselves, they work themselves. In case of Nigeria today, our president, our Senate president, this is what happened, Richard. When during the primaries of this election, it was the Senate president now that was the first person to step down for the president. So there was that alignment, their friends, their families, even when they hate themselves, they kill themselves, but they align themselves. And today they are in power. One makes sure one become president, the other one is now Senate president. They have our destiny to their hand. Tinubu on his own went and appointed the right person he can control to be the chief justice of the federation. With these three people, there is no separation of power then between the executive and the judiciary and the legislature. We are faced with that. Now, with this government in place, Richard, young people came out, or first Labour came out to make a demand. They told them to go to her. The man is very short man. He's the boyfriend of this woman with us here. We press him down. You understand? And then we got another. In fact, Richard, it's the same cycle. If the people came out, young people have been out. They just 10 days on the streets asking the government nicely to please don't do this. The government is saying, hey, in fact, the Senate president was able to say to them, why you people are out there will be home eating chicken. You understand? Go and protest and come back home. Now the children have protested, they are back home. What I'm worried about is, do we have alternative, Richard? Are you saying that yes, it's okay to say go and fight for our children? How do we do it?
Okay, so Chris, this is not only to say only in Nigeria. If I say it's only in Nigeria, I'll be wrong. Yeah. The fact is,
no, this African issue. Yeah.
When they went to the protest, what did they want to? What were they expecting out of the protest? When they went there,
they were demanding. The two things were in their slogan, and that was the first question I asked, Richard. Number one, they said end of poverty. People are hungry. I'm talking of food. There was not enough food. Even today, if you look at the Nigerian dailies, that's what we're dealing with. And number two, they said end to bad governance. That was the big slogan.
You see,
they demanded end to bad governance.
When I've said the same thing over and over again. I'm going to say it again. When you're telling people who are benefiting from a l'argent of a country, if you are begging them to stop, you're not going to get a response. You're not begging them. Whatever is in Nigeria, the money that comes into Nigeria, whatever is underneath the soil in Nigeria belongs to every Nigerian.
Yes.
if you position yourself as a businessman to make profit out of it and pay taxes, the taxes go to government, and that's where every member of public must benefit.
Benefits, yeah.
Okay. No one is endowed. No one in Nigeria is endowed with a specific position or a particular position. There's no endowment over there. When people leave their homes to go and protest, they come back home. The ones that return home must return with resource. They must not return because they went to beg. If you go to beg, the person have the option to give or not. If you go and demand, if you go and take what is yours, you go and either get it or you die trying to get it.
Okay.
This is the point I'm saying.
That's a big one. That's a big one, Richard. When I use that word here, they said you're instigating violence. And I try to maintain the balance. Mary, welcome to the show. Yeah, your microphone is off. It's on mute, Mary. If you can unmute yourself, it'll be nice. See, Mary, these are just to add this is Mary are those among the set of it's an age mate that were out on the street for the past 10 days. Mary, can you tell us about the protest? Maybe Richard will understand us a little bit more to understand that what the young people are demanding, what effort have they made in Nigeria over these years? You know, Richard, what happened during the last election? For the first time in my life, I saw young people of 16, 17 jumping, going to vote. They were dancing. In fact, after voting, they stood there to make sure the votes were counted. But the people in power were still able to maneuver beavers. Today they are in power. A whole beaver, something that was said to be foolproof. The end of the day, the beavers was no more working. They bypassed the beavers and they got their results. Anyway, that's a debate for another day. What I'm saying now is that, Mary, tell us the effort people have done to shake or to ask for a change. We're not saying the government must even change. We're asking for change in the way we've been governed. Tell us about that, Mary. So maybe we can understand what we're up against.
Good morning, Daddy Chris. Good morning, Mr. Richard. Okay, as regards the protest, it was majorly about the hardship. It was stated hardship protest and end bad governance. That was the hashtag. But at the end of the day, you see so many youths from different states coming out to protest. The essence is they want to end hardship in the sense that people cannot afford to get foodstuff because the foodstuff is so expensive beyond what we can actually afford. And also the way the leaders are actually acting, they're not acting in favor of we, the citizens that they are ruling. They actually don't care about us, and all the system is actually not looking proper. So that's why they come and talk about end bad governance. It looks as if the same people, no change in our government, the same people that have been ruling, still the same people that will continue. You understand? So they come
if we don't take time, they'll pass it on to their children, because that's what we are gradually seeing. Now, in Delta State, for instance, those people who have raised over the first period, their children are now taking over. So they're passing the baton to their children to continue to loot. It's not as if they have anything to do. And I wish Richard is here. Now, Richard is saying that, Mary, I have to ask Taco here before Richard comes back. Richard is saying that what you guys need to do, you don't go and ask, you go and demand it. And you stay there until you get what you want. How is that going to be done in Nigeria?
And anybody that, I'm not sure Mr. Richard is in Nigeria, and anybody that is not in Nigeria will never understand. Because I really don't know how these people can ask, aside the protest that they come up with. Okay, even the protest, it was a peaceful protest. They said they wanted a peaceful protest. So why was the shooting? Shooting took place, right?
Tell us about your experience, Mary. I know you went out and they were traumatized on that very day. So I said, don't go anywhere.
People lost their lives. If not, although I would say it's really a bad experience, by the end of the day, if I didn't go out, I won't really know that truly this shooting we are hearing. I thought it was just this social media propaganda. I thought it was just on the media they said they are shooting. But I experienced it and I saw that truly they are shooting. And if you really don't run, you might end your life at the end of the day. What they do is they will call it that it's a stray bullet. Maybe mistakenly it shots you, but when you are gone, you're gone. If you say the people are not really asking, I don't really know how they can ask because they came out for a peaceful protest. they stood in one particular place. It was yes, I can tell you that the northern part of Nigeria, what they did was actually not a peaceful protest, because going to destroy people's property, looting people's property was actually not a peaceful protest. But let's talk about the other parts in Nigeria here, where they held a peaceful protest, and these security forces came there and started shooting them, killing your own citizens. So tell me how you expect them to still demand. We then stay on the media and start writing that this is what they want. They've cried, they've lamented on the media, and nobody is saying anything. And even after the protest, what happened? The president came up and gave us a speech. At the end of the whole day, the speech actually made us understand that we will still continue to face the same thing we are facing. Because the food stuff did not reduce, still didn't reduce. In fact, fuel is even increasing. Fuel is on an increase. So there is nothing that changed. And that was what that speech was all about. So I don't really.
We'll take a look at thank you, Mary. We'll be taking a look at some of the headlines with Richard today. So, Richard, I don't know whether you heard all Mary is saying. She's giving us a lowdown of what the young people have been doing.
Yes.
I went out. I was there to cover the live for Srtv. I was there. And she started shooting. I can't stand there. I can't.
I heard everything you said, and I will say thank you very much for what you've reported, and a very big thank you to Nigerian youth for what they are endeavoring and what they are trying to achieve. My question or my advice remains the same. It does not change from the fact that police are shooting at them and the government is still not listening. This is a textbook stuff. We've seen this across the world already before. They do not listen at the first stop. They don't listen. They are not going to listen at the first stop. It's just like we are talking today. They're not going to listen to us.
No.
When they start killing the people, don't forget, the military have family. The military, yes, if they are bribed, the money they are bribed with is not going to be able to sufficient for every member of their family.
Yes.
So some of the members of their family will come into the demonstration, the protest. Yes. And through this is they have to go on. I mean, the confidence I have, the belief I have, because of history, because of records, shows that it must be persistent. These people are enjoying. They've been enjoying. A senator is saying, whilst you are hungry here, we will be eating chicken at home.
Yes, that's what the Senate president said.
Let it go on for 1 month. Let the pressure go on for 1 month and see exactly what he's going to say. These people, when you are there, it looks like they put something in your ears,
yes,
and your eyes cannot see properly.
Yes.
When the people resist, the word they need, the Nigerian youth need to understand is resistance. What they are doing is they are resisting bad governance.
Yes.
And this is what it looks like.
And these kids are doing that. They're doing that. They do that, Richard.
You don't do
the ability to sustain, Richard.
You keep it up. You keep
yes.
it. That's why it's called
I agree with you, Richard. If the kids are even remain there and they remain there and they remain there and they say we will not leave until we get what we want. You know, there's something the Bible said. It said, Israel or Jacob, hold on to an angel that I won't let you go unless you bless me. Mr. President, we will not leave here until you give us what we want.
People are already losing their life in the protest.
People will lose their life.
Many people will lose their life. People are about to die. Yes. People
will lose their life. That is why the blood that falls, that we say upon every country, the blood our forefathers left, suffered, sacrificed for us. This is the blood we are talking about.
Yes.
It is time for some Nigerian youth. They wouldn't deliberately go there to die. That's not the point. The purpose of going there is not to die, to sacrifice your blood. The point is to go and be prepared to die, trying to get what is good for your family, your children. If it was to do with only you, then you don't have to go there at all. If it was to do with only you, because if you stay home and get hungry, you will die anyway. That's the point.
There's a portion in the Bible which says that they said that if we go there, we will die. If we stay here, we're going to die. They say if we go there, the people will kill us. If we stay here, we'll surely die because hunger will kill us. So they decided to go and see whether they would die. They took their chances.
Whether they will kill us or not.
Exactly.
I agree.
Richard, Mary, what Richard is saying is very clear. If you people go, if people are dying, you're dying already. There's hunger killing everybody. In fact, the 90% of the population, let me tell you the kind of death that's going on in Nigeria.
That scenario is not for everybody. Somebody like me, I will never wish to experience that kind of thing in my life.
Okay, listen,
If I will
Mary,
not
but
say
you are because you think you are enjoying. Mary, the question is, I understand what you're saying. I think I'm going to leave Richard to handle this. But let me say
No,
this, Mary.
go on.
People are dying in Nigeria on a daily basis. Either simple illness that is not supposed to kill somebody is killing us.
sure.
There's a death that we know. Hunger is killing some people. Do you understand? You see, the road that is not well done, a road that is well bad, that is so bad, with the gallop alone, people fall there and die. So those people, you are dying on a daily basis. Either you die protesting, or the death is going to happen on the road, or it's going to happen in the hospital. Mary, have you seen people die shamelessly in Nigerian hospitals? Shamelessly.
Most times,
Is that one not dead? Is it not better you stay on the street and say, no,
You
this
see?
must stop, or wait for the hospital to kill you?
You see, there's one thing. If you stay at home cowardly and die of hunger, you will not be any hero
No.
to yourself and to your family. If you want to make a point, if you want to be part of a society whilst you are here, then you have to be part of what will bring benefits to the children behind you, not only about what you are going to enjoy in. I am not saying this because I'm saying here, I'm staying at home in London, not part of the heat and the dust and the malpractices of governments in Nigeria. That's not what I'm saying this. I'm saying this because it's the truth, because it's the only way, and because I am not there to be part of it. If I was in Nigeria, I would definitely be part of it. This is not a matter of someone just talking because he's not there. He's not part of it. I aspire the plight of every Nigerian youth. It's not about food. If food prices are going up, if fuel prices are going up, if standard of living is going up, the existence and availability of jobs will make it easy to mitigate it. When people are working, they work, prices go up, their salaries get increased, their wages get increased. When we have a society that only a few benefits, this is what you expect as a government. Mutiny. You expect the people to do a mutiny. We don't need the military to do mutiny. Because when the military steps in, they're going to do the same thing. We fight. When I say let them, I don't say they should. They're not going to the streets. It's wrong to go to the street to destroy fellow citizens' shops and buildings. The people causing these problems are in state house. They are in the state house, like the Senate house. They are in the parliament, the seat of the government. These are the places you expect these places to be heavily secured, and this is where we are going to. Exactly. This is where serious people go to. If I'm understood, you don't destroy things on the street to show the government that you are demonstrating. No,
the government is smiling. But listen, Mary and Richard, do you know the funniest thing? Sometimes the government will intentionally send some people to go and do that and say the protesters are the one doing it, giving them bad names. We know that they do stage people to counter these young people.
We know what African elders can do. Exactly. African elders are shameless.
Yeah, in fact, what is it? If not, Richard is saying something that we really need to take serious, Mary. What are the alternatives? If we allow military will come and do the same thing, the very same thing. And if we don't fight for something, we end up dying for nothing. Like Richard said, if you're gonna die anyway, you go to the hospital, one mistake injection that is not supposed to be given to you will be given to you and you die. You've died for nothing. It's either you fight for your right now or you die for nothing. And this is, they brainwash us. They make us fear. They created that fear now in young people. Richard, they're demonstrating it. And it's really a mad young boy or a girl that can really stay out there right now. You must be so frustrated to really say, my own is finished. Otherwise, if you have some food to eat, you rather go home and say, I don't want to die. Papa, they have money for us. Fella said all these things. They've used this weapon of fear, not wanting to die. Mary, how can a government, they tell you today that the Senate, Mary, the Senate, last paper, that the senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is almost going home with 2 billion naira in a month. What is 2 billion naira? Please give the calculation. That is a million pounds 1 month. A senator, it's not me that published it. It's a Nigerian dailies. A daily trust published that the senator, we have 107 of them, but 109 of them. One of them is going home with 1 million pounds. Richard, guess what? This minimum wages the Nigerian people are fighting for is less than 30 pounds. Today, minimum wage is 35 pounds, 70,000 naira. It's 35, and a senator earned 1 million. Is that not enough reason to come out? Tell me what you're doing at home.
That is enough reason to die.
Thank you. You are dead anyway because people are going to continue to press you until you die. Now you are crying for food to put in your mouth. And you hear the president buying presidential jets. And you sit at home. Now, wow.
When you go to demand, the protest of demand, a well-managed protest have a well-planned purpose. The actual demand. You do not go running. You sit, block roads. You sit down. Yes. The soldiers cannot kill 100 people. They will not. They will dare not do that. They will scare people, of course. They will shoot in the air, trying to scare people to run away and cause stampede. That's what they want.
That's what they
do. The irony is, look, let's be honest with ourselves. The people, the Senate, the president of the day, the MP, most of them know everything. What they are doing is wrong.
They do that.
People who are not qualified to be there. From people who bribe to be there. From people who are stealing money. From people who are not doing what the innovations African youth need to get themselves jobs, to get themselves to the ladders of transforming, doing business, government maintenance works, all sort of things that improve the lives of ordinary civilians. These people know. They know what they are doing is wrong. They know they do not demand. For instance, the senator knows he does not qualify to make £1 million in his lifetime as a senator. He knows that.
Exactly. In your lifetime, what you earn in a month, you're not entitled to. They know.
He knows being a senator of Nigeria cannot entitle him to £1 million in his lifetime. He knows that. But he's making it. What do you expect? Don't you think he's going to do everything to protect it? He's going to do everything to protect it.
And maybe, I don't know, even the information, gone are the days, Richard, when the information were hidden, people like Fela were the one telling us, and we think he's a madman. They call him all kind of name before the man died. They frustrated Fela till Fela died because they give him all kind of name. He's this, he's a vagabond, he's this. If Fela cried, he cried and he said to my people said no one died. They fear too much. They fear for the things we not see. They fear for the things we not hear. Papa there for us, Mama there for us, but they are dying. Richard, the funniest thing is, if you see the condition on some Nigerians living, and you hear that somebody just earned £1 million, when they are the same people arguing with you that you cannot get £35, and you are earning £1 million, somebody you put there, and you know if you tell us say no, you know if you stay today. They threaten you with gun, go shoot on air, with the wrong, go house. That is not a good excuse. But again, like they said, Richard, we are in the UK. We can say all we want. We should come and die. That's what they will tell me. I agree. But you know what I say to them? Every one of you go to church today. Jesus Christ died. It's by the blood of Jesus that you claim salvation. Is it not, Mary? Blood of Jesus, blood of Jesus, blood of Jesus. He died, though.
Chris, every country you see that is prosperous today, if you go back to their history, there has been a people's uprising.
Yes, they call it the revolution. The Turkish one is...
We don't need a military revolution.
Yes.
There's one thing that has been missing over history that is not being echoed so much. During military takeover, a lot of money gets missing, stolen, unaccounted for during the takeover. When the military comes, they behave as if they're going to solve the problem. They will not solve the problem. Give them 2-3 years. They become the same as the people they overthrew. What we need is the people, the arms of government to be there to come back and understand they can be removed. Most of these people in power in Africa today thinks they bought their way there. They do not respect the voting of the people. They don't. They think they came there because of their friendship, because of their money, because of their sweet ways. That's why they refuse to change. They will not just wake up one day. How many ministers in Nigeria have resigned in the last 5 years?
They will not.
None. How many ministers have you heard resigning in the whole of Africa in the last 5 years?
No one.
The whole of Africa. Why is that?
Do they understand the language of resignation?
Why is that? There must be a reason for that. The reason for that is how comfortable the position is, because they are not working. If they are working this work, if you are doing this work and you are challenging someone who don't know what the good things you are doing, you will be frustrated to leave. But these people are not working. They are just making money. That's why they don't resign. This is why
Richard, why would you resign over £1 million job a month?
Exactly, because they are greedy and they are selfish. That's
why would you resign? No, Mary, is it not Daily Trust that reported? Wait, Richard, let's see. The Daily Trust reported that a senator is not earning 2 billion. We're not talking of governors. Only my governor's security vote. His security vote is 2.something billion. He's the idiot. His security vote is 2.something billion.
If the government thinks it's wrong, let the government publish the wages and salaries of all people. If you're working for the government, everybody should know your wages.
No, they publish the fake one. They publish 1.something million naira.
If they publish the fake one, it will trim down to the accountant general's office, and then we will know where the rest of
who are the same people. They are the ones that appoint themselves. You say now they should check themselves.
That is the problem.
There's no check and balance among these idiots. They don't check them. You see, this is the fear we have. But from time to time, the news will figure out. Richard, let's take a look at the headline today. Look at the headline today now. Mary, really a punch for us. Food crisis may worsen as flood hit 10 states. Richard, you can imagine. This is a country where somebody is earning £1 million, a bloody senator that does nothing. Imagine, Richard, if I count the number of thieves I'm not looking for something else. That this money is enough to build the agricultural sector in a month. If the money is stolen from Nigeria in 1 month, is converted to agriculture, there will be no food shortage in the country for the next 10 years.
You see, Chris, we're looking at a headline like this, and looking at the conditions, the true conditions of Nigerians, many Nigerians on the streets. There's one thing that comes into head. Some of these people have been milking the government from their generations. Their fathers,
yes.
All these news, they don't even see all these news.
No, they are not there. They are not. It's alien to them. It is alien to them. What we're talking is alien to the region.
It is time.
Yeah.
This is the time. Nigerians, Africans cannot wait any longer for miracles, for God to change people's mind.
Yes.
We cannot wait. We must go and change their minds. Remove them. If they don't want to change their mind, we have to remove them, put new people there, show the new people. You see the person who just left.
This is what we did to him.
This will be your fate if you do the same.
Yes.
People must sit properly. These old people that we elect to power is another huge problem. They don't understand the condition of today. They're coming from somewhere else. They are aliens. They're aliens in the same society. They've lived in Nigeria all their lives, but they're still aliens.
Richard, how can you expect in those days? Look at Nigerian problem, and I stand to be corrected. The last time they said we have an analog president in a digital democracy. Wait, that was the challenge. But today, we have a digital president in an AI democracy. Democracy is now AI, Richard. Digital is not enough. You get to be an AI. It's an advanced digital. And even go to graduate, that the graduate cannot fit.
We've gone digital, we've gone computerization, we've gone technology, and now we've gone AI. So analog is 5 strokes down.
5 strokes down. And now we can say that our president is he got computer, because the time he went to school there was no computer. And at the time Tinubu was in school, there was no computer in the schools. So he learned computer on the street. He didn't go and do it. And that is the person ruling you in an era of AI, artificial intelligence. What do you expect?
Pathetic.
You still believe that if you can shoot at the people, in fact, this guy is here, and you know what's so funny, Mary? What's so funny, Richard? I am crying and I'm wondering, is the aspect of the religion that comes in. These are people that claim to be Muslims. Tinubu is a good Muslim. I don't know which God is praying to.
Don't use the word good Muslim.
What can I say?
He said he's a Muslim.
Where is your morals? If young people, if your country cannot feed,
Chris,
and you have so much, where is your morals?
That is part of the problem. We don't need anybody's morals. We need the rule of law. We don't need anybody's morals.
That's what we're talking about today.
If Mr. Tinubu was a good person, I don't even want to talk about his religion. If he was a good person, 200 million Africans living in poverty at your age, what can you offer them?
That's the question. Is he buying private jet? The man he needs private jets. Richard, he needs private jets. These people, you know the funniest thing, when the children are on the street, we had the news that it's the vice president, they're going to spend 5 billion. It's a mockery. Now, what happened, Richard?
That is teasing. They're teasing them. They're teasing them. They are teasing them to come forward. Come and do what you can do.
They're mocking us. You know what they did? They said, oh, this government come out and they're going to release 5 billion naira towards student loan, Richard. You and I know what is student loan. 5 billion towards student loan. And guess what? The money they want to spend to buy a presidential yacht is more than 10 billion. Between the money they deposited for the president and the vice president for their presidential jet, which they're not going to use once in a year, it's more than the money that the whole entire nation, the future of the country would have been used to, not free money for, not grant, free for loan. It's not even enough.
You see, Chris, I'll put this to making a statement to Mary at the studios. When you hear things like this, what do you do?
Exactly.
When you hear things like this, what do you do? And when is it going to change? How many private jets, presidential jets, have Nigerian government, successive governments purchased in the name of buying a private jet? They don't buy private jets. What they do is they tell us they're going to buy a private jet,
and they
convert and rent a private jet. They hire it, and they keep the money.
That's when what it happened, Richard. They hired the Ethiopian airline, and they said they want to launch a Nigerian aircraft, Nigerian Airways. That was the last one, the last scandal that took us. They took the country, and nobody is saying something about it, Mary.
You see, Chris,
this part is asking a question. When is it going to end, Mary?
Let me echo this properly. Anyone thinking Mr. Tinubu is a good man is wrong from the start. He's not a good man. He cannot be a good man. Okay? Mr. Tinubu cannot take care of his own family of 150. If he has 150 family members, he cannot take care of them. At his age, he cannot, even with the good morals, good standard, good education, good health, at his age, he cannot take care of 200 million people. With the level of institution, the level of corruption in Nigeria, you need a fresh blood, fresh young blood.
Somebody that wake up with a bossa in the morning.
That, when do I think this is going to end? It has to start from the electoral process, because they keep electing same set of people with same mindsets. And as long as this will continue, we'll continue to be
Mary, have you seen the electoral process change? Are you saying Tinubu that was able to maneuver a result while he was not in power, he's going to lose the election while he's in power? Are you dreaming?
Because even come 2027, I wonder how people think Tinubu will step down for another person to come in.
He can step down. Of course, he can step down. Definitely, he can step down. He does not own Nigeria. Nigeria does not belong to him.
Only when we do what the child is saying now.
And step down.
Stay out there until we get a result.
When the pressure mounts, the Western media are going to step in. Where they get the money from, they're going to step in. They cannot watch the military. They cannot. Nigeria doesn't produce any military equipment.
Yes.
Nigeria doesn't. They buy everything.
Yes.
When this is the strategy. If you really serious about getting something, you go for it. It is endowed to the people, not to them. You go for it. When they start shooting the civilians in protest, it's against human rights.
Yes.
This is what the West upholds so much. You do not shoot at demonstrators or protesters. They are innocent protesters demanding what is obvious to everyone. It is obvious Tinubu is not performing. It is obvious he's not strong enough to do what he wants to do. It is obvious he does not understand the plight of Nigerians. He does not understand the poverty on the streets. It is obvious the senators, the ministries, they do not get the point. They don't understand it. They don't want to know. If you are serving people, you listen to what the people want you to do for them. You don't do what you like for them, because you are the servant. They are the servants. The people, the civilians, they are the masters. It is not the other way around as they've understood it. They go on, they let the police and the military keep shooting them. Let keep them shooting them. The international media will step in, they will start talking about it. The world leaders will start putting on the pressure. He can step down, of course. He can someone left for his
that is true. Will Tinubu fly out of the country and go to any international meeting with the people on the street? No. You see, until we're ready to make the big sacrifice, so not what that Ajaro, that little man did with the labor, or what these young people have done now. We need we really need Richard, this is more than important because we are dying. And you know what I love about this? Whether we like it or not, people are dying needlessly. Do you know what is going on in the country? Richard, some part of the country, in fact, in Benue State, these are the people that farm for us. They are homeless in their own land. If I tell you internally displaced persons, the population of internally displaced persons in Nigeria, internally, the people leave their home, they are living in a camp, and they say they're living a life. They don't want to die.
Benue State is really suffering because they are the food basket.
It's not only that state. That is the one of river.
All the states that produce food to some extent, they are suffering differently. I know what I'm saying. Because I really want to be terrible and tough for the people of Nigeria.
I think what I'm getting from Richard today is these people will never stop, and it's not their own to stop. They are not in the position to stop because they will never. They are not. In fact, the mechanism, the arithmetic doesn't make sense for them to stop. They will only stop.
Have you not seen the students that they went to adopt at this Oji River, there in Enugu State Health Hospital, where they went to adopt like how many doctors, young doctors. So you can imagine that there is no place in Nigeria that is safe. Even the East, they are suffering as well. We can't say it's only the North or.
Is it only East? At the last kidnapping of how many medical doctor students? Currently, they start killing them today. Richard, you see the problem, eh? And the ordinary Richard, this is why every Nigerian should be out there.
You can see that this is a big problem. We're in a big mess already. I know what I'm saying. You can't even be saved in school. You can't be saved in church.
So, and we're saying that we don't want to die, Mary. But you're dying because you don't know who will be kidnapped next. You don't know whether it's you that will be kidnapped.
There will be no change in the next elections. We will not have new people. You can have new faces in the next elections. Yeah. We may have new faces, but we will not have new attitude because they come from the same circle. What the youth in Nigeria are doing.
Let me put it this way, and it's a bad word I'm going to use today. Richard, I'm going to say this. Richard, what we're saying today is this. Human beings were asking for salvation. In fact, the first covenant between God and man was with Abraham. Abraham, bring your pikin. He said, when God said the man faith they shake, he said, yeah, bring that lamb. The solution was not solved. We will not solve the problem of the blood of a man with the blood of an animal. Until Jesus Christ himself, God himself, had to come and die, if those of us that believe, there was no salvation. So we are not going to get this thing done if we are not ready to go for it. Why would Tinubu resign? Or why would Tinubu not buy the rest vote and win the next election? Why would the Boriwari not buy votes in Delta State? He has so much money, he can buy half of my village, and they will kill me for him. Because the animal have money to buy people. Tinubu will buy half of the country to win the next election. So until we come out and sit out there for 20, 60, 70, 100 days, this guy says it's going to change because it makes no sense. We have only one case made. It's not me that said it. If Tinubu does not address the question, say a senator is going to take 2 billion home. 2 billion is £1 million. I want the world to hear us. And the same country cannot pay £35 to its citizens. And the people are saying they don't want to die. Shame on Nigerians. Not even the government, not the people enslaving you. It's like the days of slave trade, where they take you as slave and you could not protest. You're slave in your own land. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we're going to leave the rest with Yusha to tell us how we way forward. We want to way forward. We want to hear way forward. And let's take a quick break. Richard, when we come back, we'll talk about the way forward. Thank you so much.
Looking for a home away from home in Abuja? Look no further than Srtv Shortlet Apartments. Our fully furnished apartments offers everything you need for a comfortable and relaxing stay. Unwind in spacious rooms with exquisite ambience. Cook delicious meals in our well-equipped kitchen and relax in our comfortable sitting rooms watching your favorite shows. And guess what? 247 Wi-Fi available. But that's not all. Srtv goes extra mile by providing a car to take you around town during your stay. No need to worry about navigating public transportation or hailing taxis. Explore Abuja at your own pace. Book your Srtv Shortlet apartment today and experience the perfect blend of comfort and convenience. You can reach us by calling this number 070-6237-9915 or 080-7082-7331.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back, people. This is Wake Up Nigeria. My name is Daddy Chris. Mary is there in Abuja, and we have a special guest today, Richard. Richard has been educating us, telling us that whether you agree or not, it's up to you now to decide. But Richard is saying one big thing, and I don't think it's Richard that said it first. This man said it already. Let me call his name. His name is Oshomole. Oshomole said, if you refuse to live for nothing, for something, if you refuse to live for something, you will die for nothing. And exactly what is going on in Nigeria. We're dying for nothing. Instead of me to wait to be kidnapped and killed, don't you think it's more honorable for me to go out and die for my children by saying, government, no, this is not done. This is not unacceptable. That's the option we have left in the country. That's what I'm going to ask Richard. What are the alternatives?
Thank you, Chris. The alternatives is basically what the people of Nigeria has been doing, because the alternative in my position would have been, if there was a proper separation of powers, then I'll say the judiciary have to do more to curb these situations of government playing nasty games with the people and doing whatever they want. But unfortunately, the judiciary is non-existent because it's all inside the executive. So we don't really have...
They're buried inside, yes.
Over there. The only hope today, if there's any advancement for the over 250 million Nigerians, the only hope for advancement for Nigeria, which I respect as an African giant, a very big and resourceful country, many rich people, educated, and all the rest of everything. In fact, I advocate for Nigeria as the biggest state in Africa, who should be leading in everything we aspire to do as Africans. This is simply by the fact that I do not consider South Africa, which is supposed to be the giant right now financially and maybe by infrastructure, as not truly an African state. So I believe Nigeria is the one who naturally takes the place with its geographical position, its endowment, education, as so on and so forth that I've mentioned. Now, the backwards of Africa, I believe, is I will hope and I will blame it partly on Nigeria, who is supposed to be the natural leaders of Africa. When of course, when your parents or your elders are not behaving, the children it will be echoed in the children, and that's what I believe the pressure and the psychological and the psychological way of thinking. I want Nigerians, especially the Nigerian youth, to start thinking they have a duty to change their own destiny, and the duty is now. All they need is the momentum to be hold on and move on forward. There is no need to destroy anything. It is a peaceful and a sitting demonstration. Government don't move, government don't come, government don't go. You will not pass by me to go and sit your private jet.
No.
You will not pass by me to a radio station to say what I don't want to hear.
Yes.
You keep on staying in your home, keep on in the street. We don't want you. You are serving us. We don't want you. How simple can we put it? We don't want you. We sit on the street until you resign. We don't want you. you have come, you do not have the mental capacity. That's very important to improve our lives. You have not shown us anything to give us some hope and promise that something else will be done.
Yes, Richard, it's good you said that. Richard, let me remind you what Nigeria is today. Because we're talking Nigeria as the giant of Africa, the biggest country in Africa, maybe the biggest economy, but this is how shameful it is. The education sector in the UK generates about 50 billion pounds yearly. It's now growing more. Only the education sector. They got it from foreign students and all that. The Nigerian government spent on education. The total budget of the Nigerian economy for this year is about 27 trillion. That's our budget. 27 trillion naira is about how much? It's about 27 billion pounds. That is how bad it is, you understand? Because in fact, it's even less. So if you have 50, it's less. 50 billion pounds is equal to 100 trillion naira. So only education sector generates what the Nigerian economy is earning. And only money Nigeria is getting from an old people like Tinubu is only money that comes from oil. That's another aspect of it that really need to be disturbed. That is disturbing. So the government not only is stealing, they don't even have the mental capability to make money. Richard, the only money they are stealing now is coming from oil.
You see, when the OPEC countries, which is not only Nigeria in the OPEC countries, right? Yes. When they meet, it's not only Nigeria who sit over there. There are about 10 or 12 countries.
Yes.
Okay. If you look at those OPEC countries, although they produce oil, they come to the meeting, they are part of the OPEC community. But if you go on the ground, their economy does not depend on the oil. This is a very simple analysis you need to see.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
The argument I was trying to make the other day with someone, we were having a discussion on another station. You see, when government, intelligent governance, bring in the know-how people, the accountants, the lawyers, the people who are endowed with qualified for certain positions to generate funds, to generate revenue, the police service, the judiciary service, the various institutions generating all this. The government of the day in Nigeria has done a very tricky stuff to confuse the people about fighting corruption. The EFCC to just blindfold all the media space about that, while they themselves of the day siphoning underneath it. Okay, there is too much money for Nigerian government to make in Nigeria to stop all this poverty. They are not doing it. There's too much money. The police, the educational system, I don't want to mention the oil.
The taxes alone, the taxes in the UK alone. This is education.
These are 50 billion. Because they are not, because what they are doing, they are busy. I was coming to a point. I was building up a point. What they do, what they deliberately do, is to stop being scrutinized. Chris, when you tax people, when you collect revenue properly, well-constituted revenues, when the court knows about it, the court knows, the accountant general knows about it, the tax office knows about it. When these monies get into the coffers of the Central Bank of Nigeria, you cannot misuse it. You cannot pay yourself with it anyhow, because of it is taxpayers' money. Now, what they are doing is they are sharing the oil money themselves. They are taking loans from outside and sharing it among themselves, using about 10% or 5% to do what the money is for. Because the Nigerian citizens are not paying this money, they are not paying to them.
Yes, they are not
accountable to them.
You can't feel it. Mary cannot feel it.
This is how
yes.
they play the game.
Yes.
We are one of the game.
Because it's coming from oil. No, I agree. Mary, imagine, like for instance, the BBC in this country. Let me see if I can share this figure with you guys. The BBC in this country, they make about 5.73 billion. 65% of that money comes from, this is me, no, I'm quoting it from the internet. 65% comes from TV license. Because I pay for my TV license, I expect BBC to put up some program. NTA does not collect money. They collect money. They collect only subvention from the government. So they do anything they want. Only one time, Tinubu want to make a speech. They bring Tinubu on. They go and sleep. So NTA does not owe the public anything because after all, the public is not paying for it. So we get NTA for free and it is rubbish content. Now we don't have NTA. The biggest TV station in Africa, Richard, reduced to robos. Reduced. In fact, Richard, you know what? A few days ago on this program, I analyzed how much Nigeria could have gotten from football. Premiership generate 5.6 billion yearly. The economics of English football, now it's even 6 billion from only football. That is even half of our total budget. Look at all the young people wasting in Africa. The TV station could not film a show. Yesterday, I was watching the Premiership. I was watching the Women Premiership in England. And I was watching that the stadium was not full. But it was well filmed and I was enjoying the game. So if you don't even go to the stadium to watch, the TV content alone will be a content for television. What are we doing? The government is not making money. They are spending money that they've not worked for. And that is one of the reasons why the children should be out there on the street. Not only the stealing now, stealing they steal, there's more oil money, and they cannot even make a penny. What a waste they are. And many of you guys, they're not watching us, Richard, they will be angry. What are these two people talking about?
Chris, like it is. That is part of the actions the Nigerian youth are taking now. If you put your uncle's friend, your auntie, your grandfather, your whatever in positions, you end up getting people who are not qualified for the place, people who are not good for thinking, for innovation. You see, the quest to generate is not about millions, it's not about thousands. If any innovative person will sit down and say, Nigerian television agency should not be financed by government, it is a way of being responsible. We are going to pay 5 naira. Now we're going to get a loan, whatever it is, startup, but we're going to pay 5 naira. Get the law on your side. Get the law on your side. Get 5 naira. 5 naira might be nothing, but it is something to start with. If 30% of Nigerians are paying 5 naira, it will end up being something very huge. You don't have to go and charge 2,000 when a lot of people cannot pay.
Yes, no, they don't need to. We are so many, Richard. Listen, if the BBC, if the UK, they are charging us this amount, if Nigeria pay 5 naira every month to watch TV, times how many million people? How much is that? NTA will be too rich.
This is what I spoke about, innovation and responsibility. If they do that and they don't take money from the government, then they have to be subject to a whole different framework of law.
Yes.
They have to satisfy the public.
Yes.
And the government does not intercede too much. You see, this is where the government also will not find where the looted money will go to influence. When the taxes come from the people in the Nigerian tax office, the government cannot bounce into it and take whatever they want. The executive cannot do that. So people become matured.
Yes.
People become matured, law-abiding. But when the money is coming from loans from outside,
sometimes it just come from oil.
It comes from oil.
Yes.
Oil does not belong to who does not belong
from heaven. You know,
paying bribes. They use the money, destroy the land, pay bribes to a few ministers. They destroy the land by the time they finish. The government is not responsible for that because the money does not come from you. This is why the senator president is saying, whilst you are on the street starving, we will be eating chicken. Because the money will keep coming. They will not be accountable to anyone because the money does not come from your pocket. This is one of the reasons why these people on the street, in my opinion, must continue the pressure. They must continue to stay there. They must continue to fight on. They must continue to fight on. It's not a matter of they didn't go there to just commit suicide. They went there to ask to do their democratic duty. Democratic duty is not only by going to the polling station to vote. That is not the only democratic duty. This is what we've been made to understand in Africa, the democratic duty is to make sure the person you put in power is behaving according to the rules of the democracy of the country. The United Nations Charter also very well supports the human request for freedom and accountability. It is in the charter. The EHCR also states, I think in Article 8 or 6, the right to protest. The right to protest. It cannot, Nigeria cannot subtract themselves from the rules of these international structures, which seem to govern all of us. They will come to the rescue of Nigerians if the time comes. It is not the time yet. We've seen this. We've seen this in every place.
Richard, as they say it's assumed, the international community is assuming that all is well with us because we go for protest for 1 day and we go home. Ajero, the short man, go and campaign for minimum wage. He settled, he goes back home. You know, the young people came out for 10 days, they've been subdued, they are back home. The law says that if you stay on the street for 30 days, then the international community have the reason to
but they need to. The international community will be interested. They will be interested if you are interested.
Yes.
If you are serious, they will not. If you are there lukewarm, if you are going to just behave like you are there, they will not be interested in this news.
I agree.
They will not be interested in this news. They are interested in serious people. They are very interested in serious. They are not interested in people who are not serious. They will come. The international media will be there. They will bring their report. The international institutions will come. They will see for themselves, and then it will be time for someone to go. It will be time for someone to go. This is how it happens. If you don't do this and you depend on the military, it becomes a conundrum. When the military comes, it looks like the problem is solved, but the problem is still hanging. It's been covered. It's not solved. They will come, behave like they're doing something for the next 2 or 3 years. They will bring their own Apache back in the form of a suit, democracy. And they will have successions to behave the same because you did not put them there. You think you went to the voting poll, the station, to vote. That's what you think, but you didn't actually put them there. People who believe they've been voted to power believe in the plight of those people who put them in power. They do not serve themselves. The true people who believe that these African leaders think the vote that people go to the station to do is a mere formality. That's what they think. They don't really believe that's what put them to power. This is why I will calmly and passionately advise my fellow Nigerian brothers to keep staying on the street, keep their demands very close to very, very obvious to the people they demanded from. It's a demand. It's not an apology. It's not begging. They're not begging for anything. They are demanding what is rightfully theirs. That's their country back. They need their country back. They need to identify and define the destiny, their own destiny, not Tinubu's destiny.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So that is where there's a good place to round up the show. Young people, it is your time to demand your destiny. Mary, what do you have to say on this?
Sir Richard has said it all. Young people, for those that have the mind, because not
everybody can. I hear you, Mary. You don't want to die. Very, very too like this life.
And by the way, in the days and months to come, you will see it growing. If those who are there stay, it will grow. When you see it growing, it means it's time for someone to go.
That's it. Anyway, I think we need to understand today from today's show that democracy is not just voting people to power, but making sure that they stick to the rule of law. That is the rule of law is an integral part of democracy. Democracy is meaningless without the rule of law. And by the time the people in power are not accountable to us, then there's no democracy. We have reason to ask them to leave. They violated the basis on which we voted for them. So they should go. And a famous man, one of your famous man, the former comrade, we used to know comrade, Oshomole said it all, that if you refuse to die or live for something, you will die for nothing. And we know that now. That's not new. So, and that is what we are up against as a people. Nigerians, we need to move to the next level. We need to really wake up and say enough is enough. How are we going to do this? Richard is saying that we should be out there and remain there until we get what we ask for. And it should not be an asking. We should be demanding it. The reason I agree with him is if somebody is getting 2 billion and you cannot get 75,000 naira, you see, American DC, that's what they use for the British to gain independence. That all human beings are created equal, and we are endowed by our creator of certain unalienable rights. I won't say it all. So we are all created equal. We are all equal Nigerians. There's nothing that makes Tinubu better than me. He might occupy a bigger office because I asked him, I voted him, we voted him there. It doesn't make him better than me. So the equity, the sharing of our resources should consider every single person in the country. That seems not to be the case. The only alternative we have is to demand for a change. And that's what we're going to do. And I hope the time will come when all of us will get on the street. For those of you that call the young people that go out there, stupid criminals, give them all kinds of names. Maybe they are the only solution to our problem. Because I've asked Richard today, I said, in this power, which is separation of power, the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, they are interwoven, they are working together. They will not give us the change we're looking for. Now, we don't want the military to step in because military will be like them. So the only solution is for me and you to go out and ask for what we want. And it's not going to be cheap. There may be blood spilled. But what are the alternatives? I'm not saying go and kill yourself, but I'm asking you what are the alternatives. That's a good place to wrap the show. Thank you, Richard, for joining me today. I always have the beautiful time when you're here. Mary, also thank you for being on the show today. We'll do this again. And I hope to have Richard more frequently because with you, I get the other side of me, you know, and I can rest and you give us the lecture. Thank you so much, Richard. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Until I see you again, that's where we end the show today. Until we see you next time. Stay out of trouble. And don't forget, the continent of Africa can only realize its potential if the young people really understand what we're saying. You don't need an analog president in an AI democracy. Democracy is now AI. Have you seen what the AI is doing? Richard, the speed at which I get some project realized now is an amazing thing because I don't need to write, do all this. It just do it for me. And I think it's a way. You know, Richard, you remember when you study law, they'll tell you the importance of how AI has come to change the way people practice law. How AI has come to change the way people practice governance too. It has come to change the way people play football. In those days, Mary, when you play football, it is the referee that determines the goal. Today, they will stop. They will go and see what the AI, what the camera have seen. AI will interpret it, and they will tell you whether he has gone an inch into the goal or not. That is the power of AI. So AI has changed the way even we will give birth to children. A time to come, maybe people don't even need to sleep with one another to have the children we need. In this competition age, I'm sure some nation will be breeding the best set of human beings that the world has ever seen to raise the manpower to fight. So, in fact, there's going to be changes in the way we do things, and it should start from the government. That's my thinking. So, if we have an analog president or an analog governance that convert money to themselves, we need to kick their ass. What a place to end the show, Richard. Thank you so much again for joining me. Until we see you guys again. Bye for now.
Bye.
Looking for a home away from home in Abuja? Look no further than Srtv Shortlet Apartments. Our fully furnished apartments offers everything you need for a comfortable and relaxing stay. Unwind in spacious rooms with exquisite ambience. Cook delicious meals in our well-equipped kitchen and relax in our comfortable sitting rooms watching your favorite shows. And guess what? 247 Wi-Fi available. But that's not all. Srtv goes extra mile by providing a car to take you around town during your stay. No need to worry about navigating public transportation or hailing taxis. Explore Abuja at your own pace. Book your Srtv Shortlet apartment today and experience the perfect blend of comfort and convenience.
Srtv. Innovative content.